Have you guys, as Yankee fans collectively, come to the understanding of like how much better the vibes are when Gerrit Cole isn't taking the mound every 5 days?
I was wondering where you were going with that question. I was like, there's no way it's going to be
It's a
positive.
fair question.
There's no way it's
It's very positive. You guys are 5-0. You're one of four undefeated
okay.
teams left.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like it wasn't going to be a good faith question. Uh, That's
What
not
has
what.
been my point throughout? How many times does it have to be proven correct before you're just like maybe he's on to something? You just stand in denial for no reason.
I don't think it's for no reason. I don't think you have a lot of evidence behind your claim that the
His
Yankees
best his
vibes are
best
better off without him.
individual season, what happened to the team?
They didn't make the postseason.
His other fine season. He's not a bad player. I've maintained he's not a bad player,
Okay,
but there's something off with him. There's just something off.
go ahead. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
You seem to disagree.
Yes, I don't. Besides the fact that he sounds like Kermit the Frog, I don't think there's anything really particularly different about Gerrit Cole than any other ace level pitcher.
The crying. Most of the other ones don't cry,
I mean, pitchers are weird people in general. I wouldn't say
for
most
sure.
of them don't cry. It's just not as publicized because they're not the ace of
Well, it's
the
like
Yankees.
I don't even mean like crying, like being emotional. I mean
No,
crying,
I
like
know what you. I mean, Gerrit Cole was
how
bitching
how
about.
dare someone ask me about cheating during a cheating scandal? Like how dare they? Like that's more
I
what I
mean,
mean.
Gerrit Cole was also bitching about Daniel Vogelbach being slow around the bases, which is like I don't think he has a. I don't think he has another setting, Garrett. Like I think it's just
No,
slow. Like maybe some days he's slower than others, but it's slow, slower, slowest. That's his settings. He can't do anything about that. But yeah, I mean, if Gerrit Cole didn't pitch for the Yankees, I wouldn't like it. So like I'm not here to. I just don't think the vibe. I don't think the vibes is bad. I don't think his vibe is bad. I just think he's kind of corny. So like I would like him if you pitch for somebody else. I'm not here to lie to you, but you're
right.
doing this routine. I understand. They started off 5-0. They look like world beaters. So now we're gonna do the whole.
Ah, that's the other part too. It's like there's something there. I'm not. They're 5-0. Baseball's a stupid sport. We just watched the Padres for a full season
Yes.
not be able to win one-run games.
Yes.
Like there are these weird idiosyncrasies with baseball that other sports simply don't have.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at specifically the four games in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
that felt like a 2-2 series for both sides. Houston just couldn't win the fucking games, no matter what the scenario was. Framber's out there like, hey, what if I load the bases for Alex Verdugo every inning? What if, like, maybe let's try it. Let's see what happens. And eventually, Verdugo got one guy in. He left 25 other guys on base, but he got the game-winning run in. Do you feel like world beaters coming out of that series, or is it like early season? We're 5-0. There's nothing to complain about yet.
I'm just gonna say they're world beaters. Fuck it. No. I,
Right.
just, I don't. This is not the time for measured takes, motherfucker. They're undefeated. This is not the time for measured takes. Nah, but realistically speaking, they look. The thing is, some of it looks rather unrealistic or unsustainable. Like Oswaldo Cabrera is not going to continue this. He's just not. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, Oswaldo. Continue being this a world beater, please. Continue, but Volpe's not gonna hit 500. Soto's not gonna do this. Like, yes, he's gonna be Soto. He's not gonna do
And that
this.
one feels sustainable.
Uh,
That
if he wants to hit 500, be my guest, please. No, but he might make $100 million a year. Anyways, um, the Volpe thing brings an element to the Yankees that makes this look better. It makes it look sustainable in a way that if he was kind of just regular or they were just winning on pure luck or whatever else, it'd be easy to be like, it's 5-0. It's just it's just a small sample, this, that, and the third. If Volpe is going to I believe he chased no, he swung and missed 3 times in 5 games so far. That's a that part is not sustainable. But if any part of it is, and he's gonna do that and run the way he does, he brings an element to the Yankees that nobody else can replicate because of his speed and because of his on base ability going back to the minor league. So, do I think they're a world beater? I don't fucking know. But if Anthony Volpe keeps doing anywhere near this, they're gonna win 95 plus games without much hesitation, assuming the obvious. Judge doesn't die, Soto doesn't die, on down the list.
Well, even Cabrera, it's like, are they? Is Boone just going to keep playing him? That feels like the biggest thing with him. Is
I mean, he doesn't have a
Boone?
choice right now.
No, he doesn't right now. But once he has a choice, if Cabrera doesn't cool off, why would he pull him? You know what I mean?
Because of their stalwart third baseman that they can't live without, that's on the IL right now. That's why they
John Birdie? Oh,
uh,
on the IR.
on the IL.
Okay. Okay.
On the IL. Oh, shout out to John Birdie though. He made a killer play at the end of the game, at the end of the fourth game. Off of Altuve shot down the line, saved the game. Shout out to John B. But yeah. If DJ LeMahieu is healthy, it doesn't matter if Oswaldo Cabrera is Barry Bonds. DJ is going to get his job back. We all know how this is going to go. I will save my frustration for that if Oswaldo keeps
When it
doing
happens,
this
yeah.
and when it happens.
Yeah, that's where it's like it's early, so like as early as it could be. The Pirates are undefeated. You know what I mean? I don't know how sustainable that is, and they've tried to lose some games, and so did the Yankees. Like I didn't, I only saw the replay of the Hader Soto at bat. It looked like he struck out looking, but I didn't like see the box. I didn't see like the actual call.
Oh
I
no,
know Soto has.
he for sure didn't. That wasn't a strike.
Okay, that's what I mean. I didn't. I only saw even the replay angle wasn't like it was like over the left shoulder of Hader. It wasn't even the norm. I was like, what kind of angle is this?
Oh yes,
So from that angle,
his angle is to start the year is extremely frustrating. I wish they would knock that shit off. I don't know what it's like in MLB to show like if you like took like the straightaway angle and like turned it like 5 degrees. It's the
yeah.
worst shit ever. I wish they would stop.
Anytime a sport happens, basketball, it's crazy noticeable. Whenever the camera's not the angle you're used to watching for the last 30 years, you're
Yes,
like, I'm going to kill somebody. Will
yes,
you get this
it's
the
really
fuck
awful.
off my screen?
Yes.
When the NBA was doing like the courtside one, and it was just like, I get this is cool. If you don't shut it off right fucking now, I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream in the 7-Eleven until the cops come. Like, I will not, I will hold my breath until I pass out. Knock it the fuck off. We're very accustomed to doing this one way. If you're gonna change it, I'm going to leave. So yeah, that was. I mean, Soto's got a way. I trust Soto more than the umpires, so I didn't think it was egregious one way or the other. But I was like, that felt a little borderline. Umpiring from the Red Sox games I've watched has been abysmal. They struck out Casas on 6 straight balls.
I saw that.
None particularly close either. That was where it was just like, what? And Casas, he's not Soto, but his eye is
Yeah, he
similar,
has
you know, and I
accent.
trust
He has
him
accent.
more than any fucking umpire back there. So it's been just abysmal. But yeah, Houston, quick 0-4, then they no hit the Blue Jays. Very unserious performance by the Blue Jays. Just
Unserious performance from an unserious franchise. Toronto Blue Jays.
painfully unserious. I just like a guy I've never heard of,
Never,
which is
not
probably
once.
more on me. But it was just like, what are you doing? Like, we just saw a team in your division. I won't say handle the Astros because all of those games were competitive.
You could say they handled them. They beat them four straight.
No, you can't.
You could say they handled them. It's
Can't say
okay.
that.
You could say they
It
handled them.
was
That's what happened. They handled them. They
very
let them get their little cute
Celtics.
leads into like the fifth and the sixth inning, and then they were just like, all right, enough is enough, and then they got them up out of there.
Very Celtics Nets where like yeah it was a sweep like all these games were won by one possession like I don't I don't know that handle is the word I would use but they won the games. It's baseball. Like I don't you don't really care how the sausage is made. You just eat the sausage. Other than Cabrera, who's stood out to you? And Soto's like a waste of time to talk about. We
Yeah,
know who he is. But like other than Cabrera, is there anyone else, good or bad, who's stood out to you from your beloved Bombers?
I mean, Anthony Volpe. I know I already started talking about him, but he's been the most notable player on the Yankees so far. And yes, Juan Soto exists, but we know what Juan Soto does. He has a long sample of terrorizing opposing pitchers. That's what he does. But as I said, 3 whiffs on 87 pitches so far this year for Volpe. Volpe is one of 2 shortstops with 4 extra base hits and 4 walks so far. The other is somebody I think you might be a little bit familiar with him. His name is Betts, I think. Mookie. Yeah.
Thought you were gonna say, thought for sure you were gonna say Trevor Story, but okay.
No. And he leads Major League Baseball in on base percentage with a sterling 667. Like, yes, obviously these numbers are not sustainable, whatever,
No.
but the progress is very, very noticeable from year 1 to year 2. And it aligns with some of the stuff they were saying about him in spring training. And yes, I don't take any of the spring training noise seriously because it's noise. Everybody is in the best shape of their life. Everybody's going to be dangerous, on and on. So I don't take it seriously. But small sample size theater or whatever. But everything that the hitting coach said, Judge said, other people said about Volpe looks to be passing the sniff test so far. So he's been wildly impressive. Outside of that, I mean, the pitching staff, they do what they do. The Matt Blake New York Yankees just don't give up a lot of runs. That's just not what they do. I feel like the pitching staff will be even better once guys actually command their pitches, because like none of the Yankee starters so far have been. It's been a battle for most of them. Like Stroman was rock solid. Like he was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody like Rodon, it was a battle because he didn't know where the fuck his pitches were going. Like they were nasty, yes. He didn't know where they were going. Luis Hill, kind of the same thing, but with Hill, the one nit to pick with him is, I think sometimes he doesn't realize he throws 100 miles an hour. It's
Right.
just like, listen, when all else fails, dial up to 100. Just most people are not going to hit it. Just dial the shit up. Well, it's like, stop throwing a little breaking ball in the change. I get you have to throw those pitches at some point. It's 3-1 to whoever. Ketel Marte is a good hitter on the Diamondbacks. It's 3-1. We're not throwing off-speed pitches. If he wants to come hit 100, let him come hit 100, please. But, yeah, the Volpe, Oswaldo to a lesser degree, and obviously Soto because, new area, new team. Those are the main standouts. Judge hasn't done anything of note yet. I had somebody get mad at me in my mentions the other day because
That was very funny.
I mentioned that he doesn't do too hot against the Astros, and they were like, "Oh, the big tough guy with the White Sox hat on. What are the White Sox doing?" Like, I'm a Yankee fan. Number one, I wear the White Sox. I wear other hats because they look good. Sorry. And number two, why are you mad at the fucking relayer of the true message? You seem to be mad at the wrong fella. His numbers against the Astros say what they say. His OPS against them starts with 6 in his career. Be mad at him. I didn't do anything to you.
It's super easy to be mad at him too, like crazy easy. Um, but yeah, there's no easier way to find like a true white baseball fan than if they get mad at what hat you're
Oh
wearing.
man.
Like, like obviously you and I both agree there's one hat the other one of us will never wear.
Yes,
The
that's a
other,
fact.
uh, the other 28 outside of our own home ones, I won't really wear a Mets hat. I don't hate the Mets, but it's like New York stuff in general. I just won't wear. It's just not for me. And I only hate one of the New York teams. It's just like I'm not going to get mixed up in all of that. There's too much, too much. You know what I mean? You're not wearing Patriot shit either. Like it's just how it
Zero shot.
is. Yeah, like it's how it should
Like
be.
I wouldn't. I mean, bro, I watch 5 hockey games a year. I wouldn't wear Bruin shit. So
No, no,
it's
like
not
yeah,
me.
the Gretzky Rangers I wouldn't wear. Islanders, I don't know that I could name an Islander. DiPietro just because of the funny contract he signed. Other than that, like it's just not for me. I'm all set. Um, but yeah, it's like I wear other hats, and people my whole life have just been like, "What's that for?" And I'm like, "Well, the Red Sox don't wear black and teal like the Florida Marlins do, so I'm gonna wear this hat. Simple."
Simple enough.
And they don't get it. They just
Like, why
don't
do you
get
have
it.
the lookouts hat on? It looks good. Do you
Mhm.
follow them? No. No, I don't actually. No, why are you asking
I
me
don't even
that?
know how you could.
Right, like no, does it? I live in New York City, bro. Does it look like I follow a fucking minor league baseball team in Ohio?
Chattanooga. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You seem to be thrilled with your new left fielder.
Okay, so we're gonna sprinkle in a little bit of the negative.
I asked positive or negative, and you only stuck with the
Oh
positive.
yeah,
This guy
that
won you a game, and you hate him.
here's the thing, and I'm experiencing this in a group chat because I have multiple people telling me I'm not giving him a fair shake. I hated him long before this. This is not new. I never liked him. This is not new. I have never liked that dude. And believe it or not, the division rival getting him up out of their face because they don't like him either has to factor in. Yes, the
For
Red
sure.
Sox say whatever they want, whatever we want about the Red Sox and the front office and the management. Alex Cora seems to be at bare minimum a competent manager, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
Alex Cora sent. I don't know if he benched Homeboy, right, because of he was late. Da, 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 da.
several times.
Then, it happened more than once, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if it was the last time that Alex Verdugo threw out a weak ass denial, and then started crying that he was getting picked on. It's like, well, if you're showing up late, you're showing up late. Well, how are they picking on you? Have you ever thought to look in the fucking mirror and realize what's happening? Have you ever thought to do that? No. He's a loser. People will realize he's a loser. And the thing is, he's the worst kind of loser because he's a loud loser. So he's a loud, flashy loser. So people are gonna get behind him because we need edge and all of this other whatever. It's like, is he a bad baseball player? No. Is he a loser? Absolutely. Is he gonna wear out his welcome here like he did everywhere else? Yes. People will eventually catch on. It ain't gonna be immediately, especially if the Yankees keep winning games. It's not gonna be immediately. The Yankees will hit a 5 out of 6 losing streak where Alex Verdugo will leave 87 runners on base in those 5 games, and we'll revisit this because people will learn to hate that dude. I am already here. Fuck that guy. If you ask me, it is what it is. I'm not going to spend too much time fixated on him because there's a lot of other fun players on the team, but they're not going to like him for too much longer. That's all I'll say about it.
No, I never hated him, but I also he was the guy. He was the centerpiece in the Mookie Betts trade. Like there was only so high he could get, and a lot of Red Sox fans were like, "I'm going to get behind him because it's unfair that he was the centerpiece. Like he didn't ask to be in that trade." And then it's like no one was really all that upset when he left. Like I didn't see a lot of people like, "How dare you trade him to the Yankees?" Like that just didn't. I'm sure it
And
existed, but it,
think about that.
1%
Think
of
about
people.
that.
Yeah, no, of
They
course,
traded
of
him
course,
to the Yankees, and no Red Sox fans gave a fuck. That has to
no,
matter. That has
of
to
course.
matter. The Red Sox were like, "Oh, we get to trade him in the division." Yes, and they did it. So
You know, the best guy to trade for is like when Derek White got traded to the Celtics. Spurs fans were like, "You're getting a good one." Like that's what you want to hear. You
yes,
don't want to be like, "Don't care, glad he's gone." Like that's
right.
that's
Like
the
Red Sox
last thing
fans
you want
either
to hear.
shrugged or were happy. There was no in
Right.
between. There was no. They either were just like, "Okay, he's gone, so what?" or they were happy, and he got traded to the Yankees, bro.
Yeah, it's damning,
He's a
but
loser.
I wish him well.
Get out of here. No, you don't.
I do. I don't wish ill on him. I definitely
I
don't
mean,
do
I didn't say
that.
you did, but you damn sure don't wish him well. We don't have to lie.
I wish him all like I hope the Yankees give him as much money as possible so that he generational wealth. Like that's I wish good tidings for him and his family. Genuinely. I
I
you
hope
could
he
put a
gets a lot
Bible
of
here.
money
I
from somebody
swear
else. I wish him well too.
on it. No, I hope it's the Yankees. But yeah, who you even playing around the Diamondbacks?
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, so this you could run this up. Diamondbacks are good and all, but this feels like something that gets to like 12, 13 before there's a loss.
Okay, let's calm down.
No,
Let's calm
when teams
down.
get hot at the beginning of the season, we saw with the fucking Rays last year. They were
True,
like
but the Rays
30 and
also were
0.
playing minor league teams for like a solid month. To be fair,
Yeah, yeah. I mean it, but it happens. Like
oh, it
it's
does.
baseball.
I think the Yankees will. I think the Yankees will lose one to Arizona.
I mean, Arizona's no slapdick. Like,
I think
I assume you have Gallon today.
I just hope they get it out of the way before the home opener on Friday. That's all I'm asking.
You don't want to bring a winning streak home.
I don't want to watch the first loss in the stadium. So like, if you're gonna do it, just do it in
Who do you have for the home opener?
Toronto.
I don't want to. I don't want to hear you constantly shit on Toronto and then be like, I don't want to lose to them. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just asking for the home opener to end in a win. I'm not. I don't give a fuck who the opponent is. Just end in a win. That's all I'm asking.
Now, it's funny you talk about heel, which I would have called him Gil the rest of my life until you said that. Even though I know G in Spanish is an H, I know that, and
It took me 2 years, bro, to realize it was. Because I never heard. I saw his name a million times. I never heard anybody pronounce it. And then he got
Right.
called up, and they were like, "Luis Hill." I'm like, "Luis who? Who?" And yeah, it took me a while. Not long.
It's funny you being like, just throw the fastball. The Red Sox have banned fastballs. We just don't throw them anymore. I think Chris Martin's still allowed to throw them. Kenley, when his back doesn't hurt, will probably still throw fastballs. But Andrew Bailey came in here and he was like, "We're fucking. If you throw a four-seam fastball, I'm going to beat you to death." Like, we just banned the use of four-seam fastballs to the point where we have the best pitching rotation in baseball per the numbers through 5 games. Excuse me. Now those 5 games have been against the Mariners, and I can't even call them the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics were a once proud organization. They've won championships. You understand? Like they used to, even in the 2000s. They were out there competing frequently. They were getting to the playoffs every year. MVPs, Cy Youngs. They don't do any of that shit anymore. In fact, they're so bad, there are conspiracy theories around why Estuary Ruiz was sent down. Because he's not the only one that they've done this to. I saw this right before we got on. Big Bob's Cards posted this. I don't know who that is, but he posted it. Here's a hilarious MLB conspiracy for you. Last Dive Bar is an online store that describes itself as premier online store for unique and stylish apparel that celebrates the iconic Oakland Coliseum. You go to the website and you'll see their apparel seems to have a central theme. Their homepage features shirts and hoodies that read boycott and sell the team. There's also a shirt depicting Oakland A's owner John Fisher playing with a puppet that resembles A's president Dave Kaval. Last Dive Bar hosts a yearly fans fest that's openly anti-ownership. Now, the part that gets interesting, their Twitter account tweeted pictures of 4 A's players wearing their wristbands. Ruiz, who was demoted after he's got like a 1,500 OPS right now. Brent Rooker, who's benched. Christian Pache, who was traded. And James Kaprielian, who was just outright released, which shocked me. It looked like 4 years ago Kaprielian was going to be not an ace necessarily, but a top line starter, like a number 2 or 3, most likely a 3. Not on a team anywhere, as far as I know right now. So anyone on the team, and people in the comments were like, "It's not just a store." Let's just see. Last Dive Bar is a community pillar that cares when our ownership doesn't. They're a fan supporter group that every team should have. They've raised so much money for community groups and player philanthropy. I almost read that as philanthropy because my brain's bad. But it's very funny that the A's are like, "Oh, you fuck with them? Demoted. Enjoy Reno, bucko." Like, it's it's like, what? Like, we already know you're shit ownership. Like, we know that. The city of Oakland, because I said it on the broadcast last night, it's like, yeah, they've reached out. They said you can lease the Coliseum until you're ready to go to Las Vegas. And the fact that those papers aren't signed immediately, it's like, yeah, no, we'd rather play in like a high school stadium in Santa Fe. Like, it's like, what? How bad of people are you? Like, genuinely, at this point, you're just bad people.
I don't know. Did you see the quote from the manager about this? Oh, about
No.
Ruiz, excuse me, in particular.
Oh, yes, that I saw, yeah.
The one where he says if Miguel Andujar didn't get hurt, he wouldn't have made the team. It's rare that like an incompetent organization being incompetent is like legitimately shocking to the point where I have no speech. But buddy, I read that. I was taken aback. I couldn't believe what the fuck I read. Like if I had read that yesterday, I would have thought it was an April Fool's joke. I wouldn't even have opened the video. They put. I was like, if Miguel Andujar, think about that sentence in 2024. If Miguel Andujar didn't get hurt, Esteury Ruiz wouldn't have made the roster. Listen, I'm not here to act like Esteury Ruiz is Corbin Carroll. I'm not here to do that. All I'm saying is he has one game-changing trait: the speed. He's not a bad baseball player. He hits at a decent enough level. He could wreck a game on the bases. If you are going to sit here and tell me that Miguel Andujar getting hurt is the reason this man did not make the roster, what kind of rinky-dink bullshit organization are you running? What is the logic behind it? Like, we've watched Miguel Andujar be quadruple A fodder for what? 4 years, 5 years, however long it's been. What are we doing?
The A's are a quadruple A team, so it's like I'm shocked it took them this long to get there. I know we got to stop on the Pirates, who are a notch above the A's, and the Pirates are playing well, so I don't want to shit on them.
Yeah.
But the quote I saw, Jessica Kleinschmidt had this, was we talked about Esty a couple times during the spring and where he fits in the lineup on this team, and frankly, the importance of him playing every day. And as you can see through the first 4 games, and certainly with adding Tyler, that wasn't going to happen here. Kotze and I spoke to Ruiz today about some of the things that he needs to do to get back in this lineup, cutting down on strikeouts, getting on base, or things that we talked to him about all last season. We saw some better at bats, but the reality is to use his skills, he needs to get on base. You saw yesterday, just getting on base twice, how he impacted the game. He needs to be able to do that on a consistent basis. Through 4 games, he has a 4.29 average with a 12.32 OPS. Like what? It seems like he's working on it. Like I don't.
So you're telling
You're
me that whole
you're a triple A team. You're sending him down to the other triple A team to do more triple A things. Like you're not trying to win games. Like it's obvious you're not trying to win games. Why wouldn't you have him work this out in the majors?
and it's like, bro, if you were trying to be on this kind of time, you could have waited till he got into a slump and sent him down. Because I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
because if you're gonna send him down and then tell us you're setting him down because he needs to work on certain things, well, he's working on them and he's excelling at them right now. So he has a 4.29 average. I don't know what his OBP is. I'm assuming it's like 500. He's getting on base half the fucking time. And you're telling me, yeah, he has to go down to work on getting on base. What do you think the pro reps are for? You are a team. You are a dead end team. You're going nowhere. If there's a time to give him reps to help him get better at his job or whatever it is you perceive that he needs to get better at, it's now. You're not playing for shit.
No. Fuzzy from YouTube said Oakland sending down Ruiz makes sense if they didn't replace him for Tyler Nevin, who has a career 202 batting average and OPS plus just over 70. If anything, Lawrence Butler, who I believe was playing right field last night, needs more time at AAA, not a dude who's hitting over 300 since the final month of last year. And this isn't the first team to fuck around with a young prospect outfielder. The Red Sox used to ping pong Jackie Bradley Jr. between AAA and the majors to the point where it was like, this can't be helping him. At a certain point, you're fucking with a guy's confidence to the point where the everyday at bats of AAA aren't going to overcome like the mental damage that you've done. And Ruiz, I can't speak on him as a defender. I don't watch enough A's games. I'm not an asshole who wastes my time like that. So I can't speak to like, oh, his glove could save him plus the speed and you could do that. If he's been hitting 300 since September 1st and then he started the year as hot as he did, I don't know how you could look at it any other way than he wore a wristband and they're trying to punish him for that.
There's nothing about this that points to it being about baseball. Like if they would have demoted him and brought up an exciting prospect, like all right, at least you can maybe squint hard enough and be like, okay, they're just trying to give the prospect reps or whatever it is you might. Bro, they demoted him for Tyler Nevin. And I don't even know how old Tyler Nevin is. I feel like he's probably older than we think, but
he's got to be older than Ruiz.
Right, I know that much. Right, like he's probably pushing 30 if he's not in his 30s.
26, not terribly old, but nothing exciting either.
That would have been way over.
He's an older sounding name. It's an older sounding
for sure.
Name,
I would have lost that bet. But He needs the reps to get on base. Like what? Who are you trying to fool, bro? It's like when they do the shit with top prospects. They don't say this stuff out loud anymore. But we need to set him down to work on his defense. No, you don't. We know why you're setting him down. Knock it off. What he needs to work on his defense. At least be more vague, bro. Just say, hey man, he needs the seasoning. At least be more vague. Like stop lying in my face.
Yeah, it's So we're playing this team, and you talk about being nervous about losing opening day. Like if we lose to these fucking idiots, like they had 5 errors last night. It was the third inning. Like they
Five.
couldn't. They had 5 errors. Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was like. Any type of error you can think of, too, like fly balls where the center fielder just can't find the wall, so it hits his glove and he drops it. Attempted pickoffs at second base when you have Trevor Story at the dish. I just don't understand the like Jaron Duran's fast. I don't think he's about to try and steal third. Now he might. You never know what's going on in that fucking guy's head. He
True.
might. But either way, like let him do it. Focus on the guy at the plate. You haven't you're not throwing enough strikes to think you can confidently pick off someone at second and then you rifle it into the outfield. Like that's what's going to happen. Their first baseman got a ground ball when there was a guy on first. And instead of just like underhanding it to the pitcher, he thought maybe I can turn two here. When he realized that was a bad idea, he tried to like 180 throw it back to the pitcher. Now you've got second and third because you're an idiot. Like this is not a serious team to the point where if we sweep, which we should at this point, like I won't anything less than a sweep. It feels like you should get multiple losses if you lose to the A's. Like one isn't enough. One is not nearly enough. So if we lose either of these next two, obviously it's the second right now during the day. They play tonight. They play tomorrow. If we lose either of these, I'll be genuinely furious in a way that no one should care about early April baseball. That's how offensive the A's are to the sport.
5 errors through 3 innings is preposterous.
It might have been the fourth, but it
Doesn't
genuinely
matter.
wasn't deep
It
for
doesn't
that.
even
No, it
matter.
doesn't.
Like, it could have
It
been
doesn't.
5 by the 5th inning. I'd say the same shit. But really, like
Five in a 9 inning game is
is
egregious. You know what I
right.
mean?
5 and 3 innings is just like you're getting it out of the way early. I don't fucking know. But five errors in general is bad. Let alone 5 and 3 fucking innings. Because what are you doing? You're just literally booting every ball in play for 3 innings. Like, that's what you're doing.
What was the stat I saw? They're the first team to commit 5 errors in a game this season, which tracks. They're also the first team to commit 4 errors in a game. Um, what did I see? I thought I saw another stat like of how egregious it is. Uh, the A's are the first team since 2002 to commit 5 errors and allow a single opponent to steal 3 bases in the same game. Like they're just not a very serious organization by any stretch. Uh, the A's are the first AL team since the 2003 A's to commit 5 errors and get shut out. Like these are all from J. Hay. Shout out J. Hay. But that like it's just an embarrassing team. Tanner Houck looked like an ace out there against them. I have no idea what I can take from that start. Like none of it matters. I think he went 6 because I know Chase Anderson got a 3 inning save. I have no idea. Like I'm him making it through any lineup, even at AAA, which I have to view this as like an extended spring training start. I don't know how else to fucking conceptualize it. Him being able to pitch that deep into a game is great, but it wasn't against like a real team, so I have no idea what to expect out of his next start. The only thing I do like, and I don't, like's not the right word. The thing I find interesting is that Andrew Bailey, he compared throwing fastballs to jabs in boxing. So use them, but you use them just to like score points. Like if you need a strike, yeah, you throw a fastball. But everything else is like the rest of it is going to be something with movement, something off speed. They renamed, like baseball did this, not the Red Sox. They've renamed two seam fastballs to be sinkers. Don't know why, but we throw two seamers just because they're sinkers. So we still throw those. Four seam fastballs are dead. Bayo didn't throw any. The Red Sox have walked, I think one Red Sox starters have walked one guy all season. I don't really care who you're going against. You can walk a bad player. That
Right.
happens. Um, they just haven't been really doing it. Kirby walked more Red Sox than we walked against Kirby, and Kirby walked like seven guys total last year, something stupid like
Something
that.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, like the pitching staff, more the Seattle series. I take a lot more from that, even though it's just one series. Anyone can look good for one series, but it's like you can see the plan in motion. You can see Bailey's and Breslow. Bailey's getting all the credit right now. Obviously, Breslow did great things in Chicago as well. They're working together on this. But you can see it's a group of young pitchers. It's got to be one of the younger staffs in all of baseball, just because I know most staffs have veterans on them, and this team very much
Yeah.
like Pavetta's a veteran. You know what I mean? And he looked unbelievable. 10 Ks, outdueled Logan or dueled, not necessarily out because they no one scored any fucking runs for him. So I think he got the loss. Technically, he got the loss. But he looked great. Like everyone's looked great. They've all hit at least five. Like I said, one run amongst all of them. It's hard not to see the vision, and it also makes it more infuriating. Like, yeah, this would have been great having six of these guys if you had just went out and got a veteran. Like too many people I can already see are going to let the front office off the hook for not adding. I know they went out and signed Giolito and he got hurt and that wasn't part of the plan.
Right.
But you have to assume a modern pitcher is going to get hurt. Not necessarily Giolito, but one of the five or six was going to get hurt. Give yourself a little bit more cushion. And when you watch Imanaga's first start, a guy who is not throwing four seam fastballs regardless, and if he does, they're not very fast. I don't know how you don't bid harder for that. Like he wasn't obsessed with going to the West Coast. Obviously, he's only made one start. I understand that, but for someone who seems to fit perfectly in what Bailey's preaching, feels kind of inexcusable to not be more aggressive there. Um, Two strike counts turning into strikeouts. The Red Sox lead the league at 27%. The pitching's for sure different. Like it's definitely different. And if Kenley wants to play for this team, I'm sure that will benefit us as well.
What do you mean by that?
Uh, the game they lost, one of the two games they lost, was an extra innings, and Kenley was like, my back hurts. I'm not going in. So Joely Rodriguez got tried. Joely Rodriguez has pitched in 3 out of 5 games for the Red Sox. And opening day, he walked off the mound after the second out because he thought the inning was over. And then in game 3, he came in extra innings. The only time the Red Sox really scored runs that game, they were up 3-1. First pitch, I believe, gave it one of them right back. And they ended up losing that game because their closer slept wrong that night, which happens. Again, baseball's a stupid sport. People get hurt in weird ways. But most of the fan base is pretty furious at Kenley at the moment.
Yeah, I saw Jared tweet about it, and I didn't look into it any further. He wasn't happy about it either.
No.
So I figured I'd ask you.
Yeah, it's like Kenley was vocal about how shit the team was all spring training and how ownership should spend more. I still don't disagree. You know what I mean? Like 3-2 is great. They're in a solid spot. You could argue they should be 4-1. I can't give them undefeated. Like they just got so thoroughly dominated. The game they got shut out 1-0, and that was when Devers didn't play. So it's like, yeah, when Devers doesn't play, and you've got this giant hole hitting third, and no one else wants to step up, that's going to happen. That's for sure going to happen.
The thing with and I was gonna ask you who stood out, so I guess you covered that with the pitching staff. Tyler Milliken tweeted just a couple hours ago. The full pitching staff ranks through 5 games, and yes, 5 game rankings, whatever. First in ERA, first in FIP, first in XFIP, first in Sierra, first in K percentage, first in WALK percentage, sixth in home runs per nine, first in F4, first in batting average against, first in WHIP. I say all that to say this. I was on this show the very last week talking up the Red Sox pitching staff. And I'd like to plead. I'd like to make a personal plea to them. Please don't make me look smart here. I don't want to. I really would prefer to look dumb by the end of the season, and y'all ERA go through the roof, and shit just doesn't work. I don't want to be here on this podcast hearing from Coley himself like, "Hey, you were right." In fucking July when the Red Sox are in pole position in the wild card race. I'd like for you guys to chill out and relax. But no, jokes aside, I mean they look good. Yes, the Mariners' offense isn't exactly the world's best. It's a major league caliber offense. More than we can, way more than we can say for the
It's
fucking
not the
Angels.
A's. It's not
Way
the
more than
A's.
we can say for the A's. They shut them down pretty good for 4 games. The A's take that series and throw it out. I don't care what happens. They could give. I don't care what. Just take that. There's nothing to be gleaned from a fucking A's series. Nothing at all.
No, only negatives. And
Pretty
after
much.
one game, there are none.
Pretty
Like, who
much.
knows
Like
what's going to
there's
happen tonight?
nothing to be gained. There's nothing to be taken from an A's series. But the staff looks good, man, and the philosophies, the plan, you kind of see it. It was easy to see in spring training, but again, it's spring training. Now that you
Right.
hear them talk and you see it in motion, it's like, okay, I see what they're doing. The guys are talented. Like it's not a household.
No doubt.
It's not a household. It's not full of household names, but it's guys like Cutter Crawford got a lot of helium in preseason. Tanner Houck has been. We know how talented he is. He's been around for 3-4 years now. It feels like so. We know how talented
Yeah.
he is. They got talent. It's just a matter of them doing something with it. Pavetta has been. We know how that goes. It's been like 10 years. Pavetta's been a breakout
Sure.
candidate, so we know how that goes. He's talented. It's just a matter of them going out and doing it, and they seem like they have a they have a good plan that they're putting their best foot forward on it. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. How can Whitlock, the issue's never been the talent. And now, even with like smarter pitching minds around, I like the talent's always tantalizing. It's they get hurt, like they get stretched out, they get hurt. That's always been the issue with both of them. And I know Tanner last year more of a freak injury, but even Whitlock, his first year as a starter, he got hurt with a freak injury as well. So it's like that. That's part of it. That's absolutely part of it. Um, Pavetta, he's just been a different guy since last year. But even as much as or the middle of last year, as much as he is a different guy, the first time he got to the third time through the order, J.P. Crawford took him deep. Like that's the issue, and he lost that game 1-0. So I can't be like, oh, what a huge red flag because he finished that inning strong. But I would still like to see him go through a third time clean before people are already talking extension. I don't necessarily hate the idea of an extension for Pavetta. It's a contract year. And when you look towards next offseason with who's going to be available, he may be the most intriguing name out there that isn't like 44 years old. Like it's not that deep of a class, especially when you assume Corbin Burns is just going back to the Orioles since they have new ownership. Like that's it. It doesn't feel that crazy. Walker Bueller's battled injuries the last couple of years. He's in AAA now. Who knows what he's going to look like? Safe to assume pretty good, but he still has to go do it. And then it's like Max Fried. Like that's it. Like after that, yeah, you could make the argument Pavetta could be ahead of one of those guys by the time the end of the season comes around, or at worst will be third. So it's like, yeah, I kind of get that part of it. But in terms of guys who stand out, Rafaela has to be an everyday play. First two at bats last night were sac flies. Plated 3 total runs because the A's are morons. Should have just been two, which also would have been good. But Emmanuel Valdez comes in to score because they throw the fucking ball around. Um, Yoshida hasn't like hit yet, but he's on base all the time. So I like people have developed this hatred for him over the offseason. He just continues to be a solid MLB player. Devers is hitting the shit out of the ball. Even when it gets caught, he's hitting the shit out of the ball. Casas, his approach is the same. I think his batting average is like 089 right now, but his approach is exactly what I want it to be. He hit the ball on the button right at J.P. Crawford about 12 times in that Seattle series. Did it again last night. Finally got one way off the wall that should have been a home run. I don't know what kind of slapdick organization builds a big fucking wall in the outfield to keep balls in the park. Like, what kind of asshole would do such a thing? So he got a double there for a ball that was smoked. But outside of that, yeah, Tyler O'Neill's been really good. I know, like, this is why it's so stupid to talk about baseball this early in the year. We know Tyler O'Neill's good. We know his issue is getting hurt. So me saying he's been good means
It's
nothing in the grand scheme of
it's
things.
nothing, bro.
Uh, Duran's been solid outside of that one play where he could have easily stolen home and just didn't for reasons I saw.
I
Like that's
still can't believe
us.
that picture wasn't Photoshop, bro.
Like
I saw I'm like, there's no way this AI shit is getting out of control. There's no way that's real, bro. He could have had a conversation with the catcher from there. What? Why didn't he just run?
listen, that's when I look at when I look at Costas' batting average, that has to be factored in because he strikes out because Duran was standing in the righty batter's box for that at bat. Like,
This was
I don't know
terrible.
what he was
I
supposed to
can't believe
do
that's a
there.
real
Yeah,
photo. Can't believe it.
yeah. Watching it live, I was like, and they were talking about it because he had done it on the previous pitch too, and he just kept walking, and they were like, "Is he gonna go?" And Story's standing on second. He's like, "Yeah, you should probably just keep going. You could fall down and touch home." And he was like, "No, I'm going to stand right here and make Casas as uncomfortable as possible." So the lineup, I can't say the lineup's been great because they scored one run over 18 innings. I know it's the Mariners pitching staff, but if Devers isn't in there, it is a soft hitting lineup at best. Abreu hasn't done really anything yet, and the at bats he's gotten. Rafaela's the one. Like he's been free swinging. He is not up there taking pitches. I'm fine with it. I understand the thought process and wanting him to cut down his chase rate. Definitely understand that. I think there's something to a guy going up there being aggressive too. That's what got him here. That's
Right.
what made him a major leaguer. Like I get you don't want him to strike out as much. No fucking shit. That's not like some grand point to make. The idea that you could take away what makes him special stinks. And he's been electric in the field. He's got to be an everyday player right now. Like, there's no reason he shouldn't be in the lineup every day.
Has he been playing center?
Yeah, they brought him in. One game he didn't start. I think it was the fourth game in Seattle. He didn't start. They brought him in as a defensive substitution at second, and I hated it. I understand he's way better than Valdez at second, and that will expire once Grissom's back up in a couple of weeks, hopefully. But just keep him in center. Like he is our treat him like he is our franchise center fielder.
I can't think of a bigger a bigger waste of ability than seeing Rafael at second, unless like you absolutely have to have him at second for whatever the reason might be. And a defensive late game substitution, I can't imagine you need to have him at second base at all. But
Yeah, I know it was like Abreu was already playing that game, so I understand you don't have any other options at second at that point. So I get it for now. Once Grissom's up, I don't ever want to see Rafael at second, really ever
his
again.
glove, his glove is too good.
No, he's getting such a good jump on balls. Like Duran looks fine and left, like average. You know what I mean? I don't need excellence in left field defense. I just don't. And then right, like Tyler O'Neill's been good so far. Again, I know he'll get banged up. Abreu made one bad play, but for the most part, he's average out there. We'll see what happens at Fenway, which is a much trickier right field. Outside of that, yeah, keep him in center. When Grissom gets back, everything should be solid. Devers has only really bungled one play. The biggest error so far has been Pablo Reyes when he was playing third because he just can't reach first. It's too far for him. So yeah, it's sweep the A's. Don't even make it a conversation. We get the Angels after that. Fucking sweep them too. Let Trout hit his two solo home runs over 3 games there and fucking slice up the rest of the team. Like I'm not worried about the rest of the team. If they can sweep these next 5 games, again, we're recording after game one of this second series. If they can sweep these next 5 games, and then I believe they go home after that, you're looking at 8-2 going after that West Coast trip, second longest, I believe, ever West Coast trip to start a season. The longest was 2019. Thank you, Joe Torre, fucking asshole.
Whoa,
Um,
whoa, 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 whoa! There's no need to call.
oh,
Mr. Tory and asshole.
I have no doubt in my mind he was behind that. He was
there's
like, "Oh,
no
best
there's
Red
no
Sox
there's
team in
no way,
history.
man.
Enjoy 11 games on the West Coast to start the season,
Joe Torre
fuckos."
is not behind the schedule making. Let's stop that.
I'm sure he has influence.
He
So I
no
think
he doesn't. He has no influence here. He's minding his own business. Let Mr. Tory live, man.
I'm excited for his 7 p.m. start times. I'm very excited for that.
Bro, I fell asleep during the Yankee game last night. It didn't even start at fucking 10 or 10:15 or whatever the year. It started at 9:40, and brother, I was gone by the bottom of the eighth. I was gone. I was gone.
Yeah, they were. I mean, once I saw Chase Anderson come in, I was like, I'm going to keep the game on, but I'm going to go, like, I'm going to do my routine and go to sleep because if they lose this game, I don't want to see it. I have I don't want to see Chase Anderson give up 9 to the fucking A's. Like, that's not what I want to see before I go to bed. So if they lose, I'll find out in the morning. And of course, they didn't. It was a shutout. But yeah, just handle your business against these bad teams. If you go a full season just beating bad teams and being competitive against good teams, you can find yourself in the playoff mix. No question in my mind. Do it.
Mayonnaise
Just
up. Jesus Christ. Ooh, boy,
terrible.
they stink. Oh my god. Ooh.
Terrible.
It could be worse, man. You could spend $300 million or whatever the Mets have spent this year and be them. It could be worse. It could always be worse.
Well, the Mets, I saw they have like the number 5 rotation or something like that in ERA. like their pitching's been
Their
fine.
pitching has been fine. Their hitting has been a disaster.
Disaster. Well, and they're also crying. Like I can't sit here and be like Gerrit Cole's a big pussy and then not call out the entire like Mets organization. Like that was embarrassing. Reese Hoskins just dominated them mentally on the field, like just thoroughly dominated them.
And it was like, listen, man, was it a dirty slide? Sure, man. Yeah, let's go with that. It was late at best, dirty at worst.
Sure.
It could have been both. Fine. If you're, I'm not an advocate for throwing at people in general, but like, bro, if you're gonna throw at him, don't do it after he gets on base 4 times, bro. Number
First
one,
at bat.
and
It's
then
got to be
actually,
first
how
or
about
next
this?
at bat.
Actually, fucking hit him. If you're gonna throw the ball behind, just hit him. Just fucking hit him. And then you had Mets fans like, oh, they're just making an example out of us when they suspended him. It's like, bro, he threw behind somebody after he took out Jeff McNeil the day before. He threw the ball behind somebody the next fucking day. What did you
Right.
expect was gonna happen here?
Yeah. I can't.
They
Like
sound
I
like
feel bad.
losers, and the Mets
Mark
handled themselves
Vientos
like losers the entire weekend.
Vientos is like liking posts about Reese Hoskins to be like the Mets should be playing me, and it's just like this classic Mets. Like you can, I don't care who buys the team until the Mets win, and I do mean a World Series. They're the same old Mets. Like there's no other way to look at them.
All I know is the first game. I want to say, was it the first home game or the second home game? Whichever one. They had somebody named Tyrone Taylor hitting cleanup. I'm like, brother, who or what is a Tyrone Taylor? What are we doing here? And then they had somebody batting behind him I had never heard of. I'm like, how do you guys have a $300 million payroll, and in the home opener you guys are starting multiple people I've never heard of? How does that work?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough scene.
Can't
You
really
hate to
think.
see it. Yeah, no, we don't have a top payroll or anyone named Tyrone Taylor hitting cleanup, so I'm okay with where we're at in
Yes,
comparison.
we have Juan Soto. That we're good.
So yeah, just please don't lose. Like if we go 2 out of 3 to the Angels, I'd be disappointed. But the Angels have MLB players. You know what I'm like? If Trout beat us by himself,
It
it
wouldn't be a shock.
happens.
Yeah.
They did beat the Orioles somehow. Like so I've seen them beat a real team.
Yeah, they did.
They had a lead against the Orioles. Orioles tried to lose to the Royals last night too. Obviously they're fine, and that was largely Kimbrel's fault. But just weird start for them. Burns was obviously electric, and so was Rod. But weird to lose to the Angels if you're the Orioles. Like the Orioles have been too too good to like they have World Series aspirations. I'm like hoping to claw into a wild card spot. Orioles shouldn't be losing to no
Uh,
Angels.
I feel like you're not giving the proper respect to the players only meeting the Angels had before the game, bro. I've never heard of a players only meeting 2 days into the season. 2 days.
Well,
That
that's
just means
way too
Ron had
early.
a lot of shit to get off his chest that's been bubbling up for weeks, and he's like, okay, I don't want y'all get y'all asses smoked twice. Okay, now is the time we're gonna have ourselves a meeting. I'll leave the room. You guys hash it out. Whatever. I'll come back later.
Yeah, no. Like I said, sweep the A's for the love of God. Sweep the A's. Although it's Ross Stripling in Game 3, and ever since he was on the fucking Blue Jays, he loves to like twirl a gem against the Red Sox randomly once a season. I fucking can't stand it because I don't think he's that good. So we'll see. Hopefully, we just outduel him and win 2-0 and get the fuck out of there. That's my hope. That's my prayer.
And Yankees just keep the good times rolling, man. Juan Soto through Juan Soto, anything is possible. So keep the good
Yeah,
times
Juan's
on
great.
going. Excuse me.
Infuriatingly great.
He is. I love it. And like watching, I've watched him for a long time, but like watching him up close and personal and play for your favorite team is a little bit different. And
Much.
his at bats are must watch television. It's great. Like he's unfailingly confident in himself for one, and for two, he can't stay still. It's great. I appreciate he can't stay still. I appreciate it. So he cannot stay still. He's hitting his hip. He's shaking his head. He's doing the shuffle. He can't fucking stay still, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, the Red Sox fans have been calling Emmanuel Valdez Baby Soto. Uh, Knock it off. Knock it off. I get it. I'm not trying to tell people not to have fun. I'm not that guy. That's not me. I find it a little disrespectful. Just a little.
I find it very disrespectful. I haven't seen it, thankfully. Keep it away from me. I find it very disrespectful to one of the game's greats. No disrespect to Emmanuel Valdez. Get your money, fit in how you fit in, do you have a successful career? But Juan Soto, he is not.
No, I mean he'll hit the dog shit out of the ball in a similar fashion, but everything else, they're terrible defenders, the both of them. So the more I'm talking about it, the more I actually see the comparison.
You haven't seen early Juan Soto's defense this year. It's different. It's different.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Who the fuck is the Astros third base coach? What an asshole! What an absolute ass! Juan Soto is playing deep second base. He has the ball before what was it? Pena? Pena doesn't even
Was it
touch
Pena? No, it was I forget.
McCormick.
No, it was another light skinned dude.
It wasn't one of their big guys.
I know that, but I don't think
It
it
was
was
bottom
Pena.
of the order because fucking what's his name? Bregman was about to step in with the bases loaded and one out, and
I was
instead
very
we
thankful to
got
do that. Very thankful.
fucking like I'm sure. Well, let's test Soto's arm. He's only playing first base at the moment. Let's test his arm, and was out by a mile and a half. Like just the worst idea I've like Bregman. If Bregman did, this is why baseball's so infuriating. Like you can't really make mistakes even when it's game one. Bregman in the box, the bases loaded, one out. There's no way the
It
Yankees
was
like
Mauricio
what's his name?
Dubon. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Dubon. Sorry,
Yes.
Dubon.
Mhm.
What's your shitty closer's name?
Whoa. Shitty. The
You
Yankees
don't trust him.
closer is Clay Holmes. I'm not going
You
to
don't trust him. You don't trust him at all.
define trust.
Exactly.
Define trust. I watched Mariano Rivera for
Exactly.
20 years. Him I trusted, but like he's the best closer of all time. So how are we
You'd
defining
rather like
trust?
that modern day Zach Wheeler out there.
I trust Clay Holmes.
No, you don't. If Clay Holmes was terrible until he got that 20-minute review delay where he could settle in, if they just hold Dubon, bases loaded, Bregman bare minimum drives one in.
Listen, third base coaches' decisions tend to be really fascinating to me because I would like to understand the science behind it because a lot of them are just very wave happy. They just wave no matter
Sure.
what. And it feels like that was what was happening there because there's no way you thought about the entire game context when you were doing that.
Right.
There's no way. There's no fucking way. Because it was one. If it was 2 outs, fine. Do you?
Sure,
Understood.
sure.
It's one out. Your next hitter is Alex Bregman. It's not like you're talking about whoever was hitting like ace for the Astros. No, your next
Right.
hitter is
It would have
Alex
been
Bregman.
Dubon. It was like Dubon was
Right,
up.
exactly. If
Yeah.
Dubon was the one hitting, fine. Like, okay, you want to send him? Okay, cool. You got Alex Bregman up. I trust him to at least get the ball in the air, get you a tie game at minimum, and then if he
Right.
fucking hits grass, you win the game. Chances are. So I don't know. When, he's coming home. I was like, coming home where?
Couldn't
What do you mean
believe
coming home?
couldn't believe it. It would have had to have taken such a hilariously bad throw. Like even a normal bad throw still gets him. You know what I mean? Like the catcher has to come off the line. He still would have been able to get back. That's how bad of a decision it was.
Like, hey man, and I've seen bad decisions from Yankee third base coaches. I mean, hell, I saw them send Giancarlo Stanton last year around third on like a sharp single to left field, and that is even worse than it sounds because Stanton legitimately did not run all of last year. It looked like he had something going on in his pants, and he had to find the nearest bathroom. That's how
Right.
he ran last year, and then he sent him around third. And homeboy, by the time the ball got to the catcher, Stanton wasn't on the screen yet. That's how bad a send that was. It was the worst. It was the worst send I've ever seen. But shout out to the Astros third base coach, whoever he is. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Just an insane decision. Genuinely insane. But we'll be back next week. We'll see if the Red Sox piss me the fuck off against these bad teams, and if the Yankees ever lose again.
Go A's.